Lachlan Moonhaven. The village of Etheria clung to the side of the sky peaks like a barnacle to a hull. Everything was polished brass and woven cloud silk, reflecting the perpetual sunrise. Generations had lived amongst the thermal currents, harvesting sky kelp and trading with the infrequent airships that dared navigate the treacherous winds. There was a rhythm here, a quiet predictability. Old Man Silas, the sky kelp harvester, always sang the same mournful tune. Young Wren always braided flowers into her sister's hair before breakfast. Life was contained, beautifully, suffocatingly contained. No one spoke of the world below the cloud layer, only of the ancestors who'd found refuge amongst the peaks. I arrived on the Wanderlust, a battered sky clipper patched together with hope and desperation. Lachlan Moonhaven, they called me, though I felt more like Flotsam. My arrival, even for a brief resupply, disrupted the established order. Faces turned, conversations hushed. Children stopped their games to stare. It wasn't hostility, not exactly. More, curiosity laced with apprehension. I sought passage only to study the unique atmospheric currents, claiming academic pursuit. But I'd felt a resonance, a disharmony in the air around Etheria long before I saw its shimmering spires. The first oddity was the silence, not the absence of sound, but the absence of certain sounds, laughter for one. Genuine, unburdened laughter was rare. Then there were the gardens. Every household meticulously cultivated cloud silk, but each garden was identical. And the stories. The ancestors were spoken of with reverence, but the details were always vague, sanitized. Like a melody played on a broken instrument, the tune was recognizable, but the richness was gone. Old Man Silas stopped singing his mournful tune when I approached. It felt intentional. My inquiries were met with polite deflection. When I asked about the history of Etheria, I received tales of a blessed migration, a chosen people escaping a world consumed by shadow. But their eyes didn't meet mine. They'd answer my questions, but their thoughts seemed to drift elsewhere. I tried to access the village archives, a small chamber filled with meticulously preserved cloud silk scrolls, but the archivist, a woman named Elodie, insisted everything of value was already displayed. "We have nothing to hide," she said, her voice too smooth, too practiced. I found it hidden beneath the oldest section of the village, a forgotten chamber accessible only through a disused thermal vent. Not scrolls. Complex, intricate devices powered by the very thermal currents they claimed to revere. They weren't escaping a shadow below. They were creating one. The machinery wasn't for sustenance. It was for suppression, for manipulating the atmospheric pressure, creating localized storms, effectively isolating Etheria from the world, and, crucially, from memory. They weren't chosen, they were contained. And the blessed migration was a forced relocation, a desperate attempt to control a dangerous technology. I confronted Elder Theron, the village's stoic leader, presenting my findings. He didn't even seem surprised. "We were entrusted with a power too great for the world to bear," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. "The device dampens undesirable thoughts, prevents the resurgence of old conflicts." I saw it as tyranny, a denial of free will. You strip them of their history, their individuality. I argued. He simply stared. his eyes reflecting the cold metallic glint of the machinery below. They didn't imprison me, they absorbed me. Attempts were made to understand my resonance, to integrate me into the collective consciousness. They offered me comfort, purpose, a place within their perfectly ordered world. They subtly altered my diet, my surroundings, filling my days with repetitive tasks. It was insidious. A slow erosion of self. I felt my own memories blurring, my questions fading. I started to understand the quiet contentment of the villagers, the absence of conflict. But within that contentment, there was a hollowness, a profound sense of loss. I stole a small, single-person sky clipper, a relic from before the isolation. It was barely functional, patched together with scraps. They didn't pursue me with force, but with waves of sadness. They wanted me to stay, to find peace. I activated the clipper's antiquated transmitter, broadcasting a single distorted signal, a fragmented memory, a forgotten song. Then, I plunged through the cloud layer into the unknown. Below the clouds, the world was different. Broken, vibrant, chaotic. Did my signal reach anyone? Did anyone even remember Etheria? Back amongst the peaks, the villagers continued their quiet existence, their memories intact, their individuality preserved, or perhaps merely maintained. The silence returned heavier now, laced with a subtle tremor. And somewhere, lost in the endless expanse of the sky, a small, battered sky clipper vanished into the storm. Its fate unwritten.